Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Monday night workshop, one of our shag quickies. Tonight's workshop is cuffs and collars, choosing the right restraints and accessories for you. And I am your educator for this evening, Dirty Lola. I'm a sex educator based in Brooklyn, and also I work here at Shag. Officially, this is my 10th year. It's my 10th anniversary of working in the shop, so you're celebrating with me. Yay! So tonight we're going to talk about restraints. Usually when people think of restraints, they immediately think of rope. And I get annoyed because there's so many other things you can use to restrain people with consent. This is consensual restraining. We're not doing any you do what you do on your own time, but don't tell us about it. We don't want to be accessories. But there's so many other things you can use for restraining other than rope. And rope takes a little bit of skill. It's harder to hurt people with rope. So if you learn more about other restraints while you're learning about rope, I'm not telling you don't learn about rope. We have shibari classes here at Shag, but there are things you can use in the meantime while you are picking up that skill. So first I'm going to go over the different styles of restraints. There are other things that exist in the world that we do not have here in the shop, so I'm not going to go over everything. And if you're like, what about this, Lola? Yes, it exists. We just don't have it here, and I don't have it here to show you. First up, we have our cuffs. So cuffs come in so many different styles and materials. We'll talk about materials later, but these are all examples of cuffs. So cuffs are going to be anything that has two pieces that go in either your wrist or your ankles, and then it'll have a joining piece. So this piece can come off here, and then it joins on the other side, and it looks like handcuffs. And then we actually do have handcuffs. And we have, these are called quick cuffs. These are silicone, so they use friction to keep you in because it makes it harder to pull on and off. This is gonna stay on for the rest of the class, so I don't have to wrestle out of it. But these are quick cuffs, so they're in and out. These all have a different way of closing. They're all made of different materials. We'll talk about materials and closures in the next section. This is just about the styles. And then we have, still in the cuff family, but it's they're adjacent. It's like our hog ties. So this is a set of 4 cuffs all together, and they're called hog ties because the position you would put someone in would be hands and feet back. I will give myself a Charlie horse trying to do that. You have to stretch before you get into a hog tie. You can also do the front, but is it still a hog tie? I guess, do they hog tie that way? Maybe, I don't know. Either way, it's all your appendages joined together, and they have a connector. But the great thing is that all of these disconnect, and you can use them with other things like rope. You can slide rope through here. If you have a carabiner, you can connect things. You can MacGyver a pair of cuffs. You know, if you're out hiking, just happen to have a carabiner and some wrist cuffs, there you go. And then we have our underbed restraint system. This is great if you live in New York. It is a set of straps. Do we have a picture? Yeah. This set of straps, and it sits between your mattress and your box spring, and then it has 4 points. They also make ones with like 6 points of restraining contact, so you can move around, but it's great because the cuffs clip on, the cuffs come off, you can move around on the bed, you don't need a headboard, you don't need a footboard to use it. So it's multi-purpose. You can move it around. It's everything. And this is great because it comes with 4 sets of cuffs, the straps, and a blindfold. So it's like an all-in-one kit. And then we have bondage tape. This stuff is great because it sticks to itself, not your skin. So you can bind someone's wrists with it, their ankles. You can make a dress out of it. Someone's come in and bought this just for that. But it won't stick to any hair. You're not going to have to worry about ripping hair out. But it will restrain them where they won't be able to easily pull out because, again, friction. It's science. A lot of sex is science. Mm-hmm. And, collars. There's so many different styles of collars. We'll talk about that as well. But we have collars and leashes. This is the best example. So you have a collar, you have a leash. You don't have to yet use them together. Some people wear collars without leashes. Leashes are both a physical restraint and also a mental restraint, depending on what you're using them for. If you're using them for dominance and submission dynamics, the wearing of a collar in itself is a sense of restraint because it symbolizes your belonging to someone else and the rules that go along with that. So, Trixie. And then we have my favorite, because I talk a lot and I'm bratty, ball gags. I'm bratty and I talk a lot, so these do get used on me. These are in different styles. So we have a horse bit. It's just literally like what would be in a horse's mouth. It's silicone and soft. They do make metal ones. These are going to be so much easier on your teeth. So these are really great for beginners if you are looking for something and you're like scared to have a metal horse bit. This is a ball gag. It's solid. You can't see in behind the plastic, but it has air holes because you immediately want to breathe through your mouth. That's also the magic of the ball gag. Is it's torture because it's hard for us when we're slightly panicking to breathe through your nose, and you keep trying to breathe through your mouth and you have a ball in your mouth and you can't do that. Well, so you don't die or have a full on panic attack. There are holes in this, so you can, it's like a wiffle ball. You can like through it. It'll just be harder. And then we have this ring, and it keeps your mouth open. So all of this is strapped. Why do you want your mouth open? Well, one, you can't talk, so it's restraining you from doing that. You can make noises. But the best part is you drool. So you're making a mess. It's a lot about, if people like to be, what's the word? Not shamed, degraded in a good way when you like it, when you ask for it. Because that's what kink is all about, right? Consensual things. So these are all our selection of restraints that we have here. Other things we don't have here would be there are sex swings, there are spreader bars. Spreader bars, you would use cuffs. Again, multi-tool. You use ankle cuffs and you connect them to the spreader bar. And some of them, the more you struggle, the wider it gets and it won't let you close it. So you're torturing yourself by moving. And some just lock into place and they can keep adjusting it. Some have like a hook so you can like hook it to something else. I've seen people hoist it up by spreader bars. They are great. We just don't have them on hand here for me to show you today. So those all fall into the family of restraints. So when you're shopping for these, we do have a lot of choices here, and it can be a little overwhelming. One thing to help you narrow it down is price. If you come in and you tell us what you're looking for and you give us a price range, we can steer you towards what will fit that. A lot of things that are leather are going to be expensive because, girl, it's leather. Leather just costs money, and they're handmade. We use a lot of our items are bespoke. They're made locally. They're made by artisans. So these aren't mass-produced items. We do have some mass-produced items, and the price reflects that. But the things that are leather and more expensive are coming from somebody who's made things with their hands and imbued it with all their love for you to go home with. So when you're coming in and you're looking at different things, we can show you, one, are you looking for what's your price? Where are you on the spectrum of using restraints? Are you a beginner? If you're a beginner, I would recommend just some soft cuffs maybe. Like we have these fabric, here they are. These are microfiber and they're really soft and they're really like, they're sumptuous. But they're so easy. They're Velcro, like those sneakers you had when you were a kid and you didn't know how to tie a knot yet. We're still using Velcro for people who don't know how to tie knots. It's okay, because I'm bad at knots too. So these are great for beginners because they're easy to operate. They're kind of panic proof if you start getting like flustered and you don't want, like you can't unbuckle somebody quick enough. This is just a strap. You don't have to worry about it. The bondage tape, again, super easy. Hard to like hurt somebody. I mean, if you use it wonky, and I'm not going to tell you how to use it wonky because that would defeat the purpose. It could hurt someone, but if you're using it in its intended purpose, it's hard to like, you're not going to cut off circulation unless you're like tying someone excruciatingly tight. We'll talk about that too because you don't want to do that either. You also want to look at fitting, like how something's going to fit. So there are stiffer leathers, we have softer suedes, things that have a little more give, some things are size. So we do have adjustable items that are made for folks of different body types so you can have adjustable things. because some of our things are made from local makers, if you needed something in a size we don't have and you had time to wait for it, we could ask and get that made for you. So just something you might want to know. So these are all things we're going to talk to you about, especially, and like what are you using it for? Are you wanting something more for fashion? Are you looking for something that's going to be more durable? And why I ask that is because we have this beautiful collar that looks just like a fancier version of this collar. If you wear this collar and you're doing a really rough scene, this collar is going to break. It's just going to rip apart. Why? Because it's pleather, which is just plastic. It's plastic and it's like metal, but it's lightweight metal. It has jump rings instead of that are like really flimsy. It's meant for you to be pretty. This is for pretty kinky. This is for I am going to be seen, not used. If you want to be used, you need something durable. So this is a leather durable. It's got rivets. You can do a lot of tugging and a lot of pulling with this, and it's not going to just rip apart. So those are the things you want to think about, like how are we using this? How am I planning to restrain someone? If you are really rough in the bedroom, which is great, we love that if it's what you want. If you're really rough, you want to think about like, what are you buying? How rough are you? And I'm not just saying that because things break. I'm saying that because these are fun and they're classic and they're in every TV show. These are horrible if you're trying to have rough sex because you're going to end up with really bad wrist bruises. You could probably end up with worse because they're metal. They're hard. It's not fun. So these aren't great if you're doing a lot of like moving about. You want like a cuff that has a little bit more flex to it. Also, these are kind of like, I don't know, they're boring. These are basic. These are the basic bitch of the restraints is your handcuffs. They don't do a lot. You could hook them to a headboard if you had a headboard. Only on one side, you'd have to buy 2 pair. You can't do anything separate. You can't move around. These have like a latch, a safety latch. So even if you lost the key, it would be okay. You wouldn't end up trapped. This is not Gerald's game. We're not going to have that moment. But, you can get out of them. There are cuffs that exist that you do need the key for. Usually those are Cox cuffs. You can buy them. They're expensive and they're way more heavy duty and they hurt worse. So these are like for aesthetics or a very specific kind of play. For your like all the time play, get some kind of cuff. It doesn't even have to be like the soft leathers. Like we have these really pretty suede. They're wonderful. These are really durable. They connect and disconnect. So you can move around, get tied up somewhere else. We're all about mobility. You don't have to keep it in the bedroom if you don't want to. Materials. So I've mentioned all the different materials and things you want to think about with those materials. The main thing with leather is you have to care for them. So leather isn't something you just throw in a drawer, especially not in this city where our apartments are wildly different temperatures at different times of the year because leather will crack. So depending on the type of leather you have, if it's just like a suede, you just want to, and even if it's the other types of leather, you want to just lay it flat when you're not using it. So you want to unroll them, lay them flat, make sure they're somewhere temperate. I keep mine in a drawer on some tissue paper. It's white, so it's not transferring any color. You don't want to keep it rolled because it'll get hinky. It'll get like kinky and it'll have like a crease in it and it won't look sexy anymore and you'll be like, ugh, I hate it. If you're using any of the neoprene or the microfiber, this one's the microfiber, this one's the neoprene. These are just easy peasy. You can wash these, so you can throw these in the washing machine. If you do a lot of fluid play, these are great because you can throw them in the washing machine. They're totally washable. The neoprene are wipeable. I have not tried to wash these yet, so I don't know. They don't market them. It's like scuba suit material. I don't think you throw a scuba suit in the washing machine, so there you go. But these are great for like different types of play, really messy play, people who do things like that or that might need to be washed. These are good, but that's as far as your care needs to go with this. You don't have to treat them specially. Yeah, my main thing about the what was it? Make sure, yeah, your silicone, you can wipe that down. You can even boil the silicone quick cuffs, which is great. So if you're doing something, you get blood, play, things happen, spit, poop, who knows? I don't know why things happen, they just do. That way you can clean them up really well and you can sterilize them. But leather is the one that you're going to have to put a little care into. And then the different types. I don't know, what's the other type of leather that's not the suede? Do we know if it has a name? It's just leather. Yeah. I don't know. There's types of leather. I'm not a leather person. I don't know. Anyway, so if you feel you need to condition it, just go to like a place where you care for shoes. And they'll usually give you something that, like, if it gets dull or it's not as pretty, you can clean with that. And your suede collars, if you wear makeup, you want to put like the stain proofing on them, like you would put on your winter shoes. Put those on your collars, because then they become repellent and they don't get makeup all over them, because guess what happens? You can't wash your makeup out of your light baby blue suede collar. Ask me how I know. Yeah, so you spend a lot of money for it, protect it. And also, like, then if you go into a pool, it'll be fine. I don't know why you would be in a pool with your collar, but there you go. The other bit about collars, which I briefly mentioned about dominance and submission and why you would wear a collar. So not all collars are meant to be worn, to be tugged around. Some are worn to symbolize your bond with someone else. So we have all types of collars. This is one type. You could tug someone. It is sturdy. It actually has screws holding this in, and you could attach a leash to this, but it is also very much a fashion collar. There are some less heavy collars. This is a nice little cute collar. It does have a D-ring on it, so you could attach a collar to it, a leash to it. And this one, though it has these little D-rings, this is very much a fashion collar. These are collars meant more to symbolize a bond or just to wear because it looks cute. You can buy these even if you just want to look cute. Everybody's doing it. You don't have to not do it because, I don't know. So there are all these different kinds. And when you come in, if you say, like, I'm looking for something more fashion-y, we have a little section that has things that are more fashion forward, that are more elaborate, that are not meant to be paired up with a leash. And then we have the items that are meant to be paired up with a leash. And we also sell the leashes separately. Where are you? So you don't have to buy it as a set. You could buy a separate leash for other things to have. Or if you just want, I don't know, people like to mix and match colors and do the fun ways like this. So safety with your restraints. The main thing we want to make sure we're doing when we're using restraints is we don't want to cut off circulation and we don't want to choke people. So when you're putting on a collar, if you're putting it on for someone else or even yourself, you want to make sure you can still fit at least a finger between your skin and your collar and it's comfortable. It can be, if you like it a little snug, that's fine, but you don't want it to be so comfortable that it's cutting into your skin. Especially like brand new leather that needs to be broken in can sometimes be sharp on the edge. So the harder the leather, it's going to break down over time, but at the beginning, it's going to feel really sharp on the edges against your flesh. So those are more prone to give you little cuts than like a softer suede. So you just want to make sure you can put a finger to 2 fingers between, especially for a collar. When you're putting on the cuffs, I know people are like, I don't want them to get away. It's like, sure. But we also don't want their fingertips to turn blue. So again, a finger to 2 fingers in between and make it adjustable. And explain to the person who you're putting on how these things work. Show them how they operate. If something happens and they need to get out of them, they need to know how to unlatch themselves. People panic and sometimes lose that information. But if you've explained, like, this is how easy it is just to slip out of this, especially with the Velcro, you can like unvelcro yourself, or you can at least hit the little latch on the carabiner and kind of get one of your arms down. You want to go over these things with your partner while you're using them. It helps people feel more comfortable when they don't feel like something's happening to them that they don't have any control over. So even though restraint is for restraining, and a lot of it is the mind fuckery of it, it's better when the person is not panicking. We don't want actual anxiety attacks happening, actual panic. We want the fun fear. We don't want real fear. So like walking through all of these things once you get them home and show them what you bought, making sure they fit before sexy times. So if you can't have your partner with you, measuring their neck, measuring their wrist and their ankles before you come in, because too many people go, I think this will fit. That is not a size. This is not. This is, or you looking at me and going, their neck is like yours. That's not helpful. That is not a size. So coming in with that information when you're going to buy it, because it's important to get sizes that work for your partner so that they can be comfortable, or for yourself. You don't want to buy something that's too tight. Does anybody have any questions, both here or online? My online folks, if you have any questions, I'm getting closer. I'm not being creepy. I'm just getting closer so I can read. Do. Yes.
Could you speak to, I don't know if you're planning to, like silk ties or like using
Ooh, do we have, oh. Yes. These kind of fall, so these are silk ties. They asked to talk about these, which I should have grabbed one. These kind of fall in the same category as rope a little bit, because it's knots, but these are great. These are easy. A lot of people already have something like this. This can be used as a blindfold. It can also be used as a restraint. You just want to be careful with your knots, and also things that are this slippery or this kind of material, once you kind of get them knotted, sometimes they're hard to unknot. The knots they really get in there. And this is not something you want to have to use your safety shears for. This is what we have when we're using rope and things to tie people. We use safety shears so we can cut them out. So if you don't want to lose this, I wouldn't do it for like full knots. If you're just doing like a fun little bow restraint, it's just for the mind fuck of it, sure, but I wouldn't do like a hardcore restraint with one of these. Unless you're okay with losing it. You're like, this could be an item we cut up. I don't have any questions here. All right, so thank you for everybody for joining us. There is a coupon for tonight, but also for you, if you're watching, it's Cuffs 24. Is it all caps? Mm-hmm. All caps, Cuffs, CUFFS 24. It starts tonight and it ends on Thursday, so you will get 10% off online. I'm gonna say yeah. That's probably what it is. And the folks in store also can use the discount code tonight. Thank you so much for watching us. If you missed any of this, you can come back and watch it. It will be available on the replay on our page. All of our workshops are available on our replay. You can go back and see everything from this past year. If you've missed anything, everything is in our highlights. And what's our next class? What's next month? Yeah. Next month is what? Lube of your life?
Lube up your life.
Lube up your life. Who's teaching that? Who's teaching Lube Up Your Life? Lindsay. Lindsay will be teaching Lube Up Your Life. You've seen Lindsay before if you've watched our classes, so that will be fun. Oh, because what's next month is November. Why Lube in November? I don't know. Never mind. These aren't conversations for you. Thank you again for watching. I hope you all have a great night. I'll see you later. Bye.